of specific errors are worth a life-changing fortune. We are talking about coins that look dirty and old but have sold for over $100,000 at major U.S. auctions. The year 1944 is the king of secrets. During World War II, the U.S. Mint switched to steel pennies in 1943 to save copper for the war. But in 1944, a few copper blanks were left in the machines. If you find a 1944 penny that sticks to a magnet, it is common. But if you find a 1944 penny that does not stick to a magnet and weighs exactly 3.11 grams, you have found the holy grail of pennies. One of these recently sold for over $150,000 because it was struck on a leftover steel planchet by mistake. Next, look at your 1941 pennies. Most are worth 3 cents, but the 1941 double die obverse is a monster. Grab a magnifying glass and look at the word liberty and the date. If you see a clear doubling or thickness in the numbers, you are looking at a coin worth $20,000 in high grade. Collectors are hunting for this specific 1941 error because it was a massive mistake at the Philadelphia Mint that almost no one noticed at the time. Then we have the 1946 wheat penny. This was the year America returned to peace after the war and the copper quality changed. Look for the 1946 S Mint mark from San Francisco. There is a rare variety known as the S over D where the mint accidentally punched an S over a D mark. This tiny letter mistake turns a 1-cent coin into a $3,000 treasure. Also check the weight. A genuine 1946 penny must be 3.11 grams of 95% copper. The biggest mistake you can make is cleaning these coins. If you find a dirty 1941 or 1944 penny, leave it exactly as it is. Collectors want the natural patina and the original surface. Scrubbing a rare 1944 copper error with polish will instantly destroy 90% of its value. Professional graders like PCGS look for original luster and microscopic details that prove the coin is authentic. The market for these specific years is exploding in the United States right now. These are the coins people ignore in jars and under car seats every single day. They think it is just old copper, but it is actually portable wealth. If you see a 1941, 1944, or 1946 date in your change, do not spend it until you check for these specific errors. One small mistake by the U.S. Mint 80 years ago could be your ticket to a massive payday. Stay tuned as we reveal the exact auction records for these legendary wheat pennies. Stop before you toss that old, dirty penny into a jar or spend it on a piece of gum. Look at the date. Is it 1941? If yes, you could be holding a piece of American history that collectors are literally fighting over in high-stakes auctions. Flash images of auction house logos, heritage auctions, PCGS, and big price tags like $7,000, $10,000, and $15,000. Most people think a penny is just a cent, but in the world of numismatics, the year 1941 was a turning point. While over 1 billion were minted, only a handful survived in a way that makes them worth more than a brand new car. Today, we are uncovering the truth. No myths, no fake rumors, just real auction reality. We'll show you the exact errors, the secret mint marks, and the specific red tones that turn this humble copper coin into a silent fortune. The historical context, building value visual, black and white footage of 1941 America, WW2 posters, and the Philadelphia Mint. Narrator. To understand why the 1941 wheat penny is special, we have to go back to 1941. America was on the brink of entering World War II. The economy was shifting, and the U.S. Mint was working overtime. This was the era of the pre-war copper. Unlike the steel pennies of 1943, these 1941 cents were made of a rich, solid alloy, 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. Visual. On-screen text showing technical specifications. Weight, 3.11 grams diameter. 19 mm edge. Plain, smooth. Designer. Victor David Brenner, VDB. Because these coins were used heavily during the war years. Finding one today that hasn't been scratched, cleaned, or corroded is like finding a needle in a haystack. Most 1941 pennies you find in your pocket are circulated. They've seen thousands of hands. But collectors don't want common. They want the survivors. The three mints, where to look, visual. Show 3 pennies side by side. No mint mark, D and S, narrator. There are 3 main versions of the 1941 penny, and knowing the difference is key to your wealth. 1. The Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark. The majority of 1941 pennies were struck in Philadelphia. They have no letter under the date. While common, a 1941 Philly penny in MS-68 red condition recently sold for over $15,000. Why? Because at that grade, the coin looks like it was minted 5 minutes ago, with a deep orange-red glow. 2. The Denver Mint D mark. Look for a small d under the date. Only 128 million were made here. In uncirculated condition, these can easily fetch $50 to $500, but if you find a high-grade specimen, you're looking at thousands. 3. The San Francisco Mint S mark. The S mint mark is the rarest of the 3 in terms of production numbers. Only 92 million. These are highly prized by West Coast collectors. An S mint penny in pristine condition is a true trophy. The big money errors, the real treasure visual. Macro lens zoom in on the words Liberty and the date 1941. Narrator. Now, let's talk about the errors. This is where a 5-cent coin becomes a $10,000 coin. Pay very close attention. The double die obverse. This is the holy grail for 1941. Look at the word Liberty and the date 1941 under a magnifying glass. Do you see a shadow or a double image? If the letters look thicker or doubled, you've found a double die. Depending on the strength of the doubling, these can sell for $200 to $2,000 even in average condition. The off-center strike, sometimes the machine slips. If your 1941 penny looks like the design is falling off the edge, you have an off-center strike. A 50% off-center 1941 penny is an instant collector's item worth hundreds. Lamination flaws and die cracks. Does the coin look like it's peeling? Or is there a raised line of metal running through Lincoln's head? These are mint errors. While not worth thousands, they prove your coin is unique and can sell for $20 to $100 to the right buyer. The color grade visual. Comparison of 3 pennies. 1 dull brown, 1 slightly shiny, RB, and 1 bright red, RD. Narrator. If you want the big money, you must understand color grading. Most old pennies are brown. They are worth the least. These have some original luster left. This is the jackpot. A red 1941 penny means it has been protected from oxygen for over 80 years. If your coin is bright orange/red, do not touch it with your fingers. The oils from your skin will ruin it. How to sell and wrap UP visual. Website screenshots of PCGS.com and eBay sold listings. Narrator. If you think you have a winner, here is your checklist. Never clean it. I repeat, never clean your coin. Even a light rub with a cloth can drop the value from $1,000 to $10. Check the weight. It must be 3.11 grams. Get a loop. Use a 10x magnifying glass to look for that doubling. Professional grading. If it looks perfect, send it to certified grade is the only way to get those $10,000 auction prices. Looking at the camera or high-quality B-roll of coins. The 1941 Lincoln Wheat penny is a masterpiece of American minting. It's a survivor of a world at war and a symbol of hidden wealth. Go check your piggy banks, your old coat pockets, and your grandpa's coin jars right now. You might be sitting on a fortune without even knowing it. Attention coin collectors and treasure hunters. Stop everything you are doing and check your loose change immediately because a simple penny from 1946 could be the most valuable thing in your pocket. Most people see a dirty old copper coin and think it is just worth 1 cent, but in the world of high-end numismatics, that same coin could be worth thousands of dollars. Today, we are deep diving into the legendary 1946 Lincoln Wheat penny. We are going to uncover the hidden errors, the rare mint marks, and the specific historical details that turn this common coin into a massive payday. The year 1946 was a monumental time for the United States. World War II had just ended and the country was transitioning back to a peacetime economy. This shift had a direct impact on the United States Mint. During the war years of 1943 to 1945, the composition of the penny had been altered to save copper for the war effort, resulting in the famous steel pennies and the shell-case bronze cents. However, in 1946, the mint returned to the original pre-war composition. This makes the 1946 penny a symbol of American resilience and a return to normalcy. Let us talk about the technical specifications because these details are what professional graders look for first. A genuine 1946 Lincoln wheat penny is composed of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. It should weigh exactly 3.11 grams. If you find a coin that looks like a 1946 penny but feels lighter or sticks to a magnet, you might have stumbled upon an extremely rare experimental strike or a counterfeit. The diameter is 19 millimeters with a plain edge. On the obverse side, you have the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner. Above his head are the words "In God We Trust," and to his left is the word "Liberty." On the reverse you find the classic 2 stalks of wheat, which gave this series its famous name. Now, why are some of these coins worth so much money while others are only worth 3 cents? It all comes down to the 3 pillars of coin value, which are condition, mint mark, and errors. In 1946, 3 different mints produced these pennies. The Philadelphia Mint produced over 991 million coins. These have no mint mark under the date. Because so many were made, a common circulated 1946 penny is not rare. However, if you find one in mint state 67 or higher, the price explodes. Collectors have paid over $14,000 for a perfect 1946 Philadelphia strike because finding one without a single scratch after 80 years is nearly impossible. Next, we have the 1946 D penny from the Denver Mint. They produced 315 million of these. You can identify them by the small d located right under the date. Denver strikes are known for having a very sharp detail. If you find a 1946 D in a brilliant red uncirculated condition, it can easily fetch $500 to $1,000 at auction. But the real king of the 1946 Denver coins is the D over D repunched mint mark error. Look closely at the D under a magnifying glass. If you see a second D ghosting behind the first one, you have found a major error that collectors will fight over. Then there is the 1946 S penny from the San Francisco Mint. This mint produced the lowest amount of the 3 with 198 million coins. The S mint mark is highly coveted. A 1946 S in high grade can reach values of $3,000 or more. But wait, there is a secret error on the San Francisco coins that most people miss. It is called the 1946 S ball mark variety. This is a rare die gouge that looks like a small ball or dot near the mint mark. This tiny detail can triple the value of the coin instantly. Beyond mint marks, we have to talk about the red versus brown factor. This is where the big money is hidden. Copper coins are categorized by their color. A coin that has lost its original glow is called brown. A coin that has some color left is red-brown. But a coin that looks like it just came off the press today is designated as red. A red 1946 penny is worth 10 times more than a brown one. If you find a penny that still looks bright orange and shiny after 8 decades, do not touch it with your bare hands. The oils from your skin will ruin the red finish and cost you thousands of dollars in potential profit. The most explosive value comes from the major mint errors. In 1946, the machines were running at full speed and mistakes happened. One of the most famous is the double die obverse. Look at the word Liberty and the date 1946. If the letters look like they have been printed twice or have a thick blurred appearance, you are looking at a double die. These are exceptionally rare for this year and can sell for massive amounts. Another error to watch for is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin blank is not centered in the press. If your 1946 penny is missing part of the design and has a crescent moon shape of blank copper, it is a high-value error. You must also look for the lamination error. This is when the metal of the coin starts to peel or flake off like a piece of wood. While common on some wheat pennies, a dramatic lamination on a 1946 cent can add significant value. Also keep an eye out for die cracks, especially the BIE error, where a small vertical crack appears between the B and I in Liberty, making it look like it says Liberty. If you think you have a winner, here is exactly what you need to do. First, never clean the coin. I cannot stress this enough. Even a soft cloth can leave microscopic scratches that a professional grader will see. Cleaning a rare coin can reduce its value by 90%. Second, store it in a PVC-free plastic flip or a specialized coin holder. Third, get it authenticated by a service like PCGS or NGC. A 1946 penny that is raw might sell for $20, but that same coin inside a certified plastic slab with a high grade could sell for $2,000. The market for Lincoln wheat pennies is stronger than ever. New collectors are entering the hobby every day, and they all want a piece of American history from the post-war era. The 1946 penny is the perfect entry point for someone looking to find wealth in their attic or their grandparents' old jars. It represents a time when a penny could actually buy something, and today it represents a potential fortune for those with the patience to look. Check every jar and every old box. Look for that 1946 date. Check for the D or the S. Look for the doubling in the letters. Weigh it to make sure it is 3.11 grams. If you see that beautiful red luster, you might be holding a life-changing discovery. Coin collecting is not just a hobby, it is a high-stakes treasure hunt happening in plain sight across America. Make sure to subscribe to stay updated on the latest auction records and error discoveries. Your pocket change could be your ticket to a massive hidden fortune. Happy hunting, and may you find the next 1946 masterpiece. Most people think a 1944 penny is just an old piece of copper worth 3 cents. And 99% of the time they are right. But what if I told you that a mistake made in the heat of World War II created a handful of forbidden pennies? One of these recently sold for over $400,000. Today, we are stripping away the myths. I'm going to show you the exact weight, the magnet test, and the secret steel error that turns a common 1944 cent into a life-changing fortune. Stay with me until the end, because the final coin we discuss is the rarest of them all. A coin so valuable, even most experts have never seen it in person. Let's reveal the truth. 1 to 330. The history. Why 1944 was different. Visual. Black and white footage of World War II, soldiers, and the U.S. Mint in the 1940s. Narrator. To understand why your 1944 penny could be worth a fortune, we have to go back to the year 1943. America was in the middle of World War II. Copper was a critical war material. It was needed for shell casings, wiring, and communication equipment. To save copper, the U.S. Mint did something they had never done before. They made pennies out of steel coated in zinc. These are known as silver pennies or steel cents. But there was a problem. They rusted, they looked too much like dimes, and the public hated them. Visual. Split screen showing a 1943 steel penny and a 1944 copper penny. Narrator. By 1944, the Mint decided to switch back to copper. But they didn't just use regular copper. They used recycled shell casings from the battlefields. This is why 1944 pennies are often called shell case cents. In 1944, the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints went into overdrive. They produced over 1.4 billion pennies. Because the production was so massive, mistakes happened. And those mistakes are exactly what we are looking for today. The forbidden 1944 steel error. Visual. A silvery-looking 1944 penny. Text on screen. The Holy Grail. Narrator. This is it. The reason you are here. The 1944 steel Lincoln penny. Here is the secret. In 1944, all pennies were supposed to be copper. However, a few leftover steel blanks, planchets, from 1943 were still stuck in the hopper or the machines. When the 1944 dies started striking, these leftover steel blanks were accidentally fed into the press. Narrator. The result. A 1944 penny that looks like silver but is actually steel. Why is it rare? Only about 20 to 30 of these are known to exist from the Philadelphia Mint. The value, in average condition, these start at $75,000. But a Mint State MS-64 version? It has reached a staggering $180,000 at auction. Visual demonstration of the magnet test. Narrator. How do you find it? The simple. The magnet test. A normal 1944 copper penny will not stick to a magnet. But if you have a 1944 penny that jumps onto a magnet like glue, you might be holding a six-figure treasure. Warning. Many people fake these by plating a copper penny in zinc. If it's plated copper, it won't stick to the magnet. If it sticks, your life just changed. The technical specs. Copper versus steel. Visual. A digital scale showing weights. Table on screen. Narrator. To be a professional coin hunter, you need to know the numbers. The weight is your best friend when identifying fakes. Feature standard 1944 copper air, 1944 steel error weight, 3.11 grams, 2.70 grams composition 95% copper, 5% zinc coated steel magnetism magnetic diameter 19.05 mm, 19.05 mm narrator. If you find a silver-colored 1944 penny, weigh it. If it weighs 3.11 grams, it's just a regular penny that someone painted or plated. But if it weighs 2.7 grams and sticks to a magnet, you have the real deal. Coin. The 1944 S steel, the $400,000 coin. Visual. Close-up of the S mint mark under the date 1944. Narrator. While the Philadelphia steel penny is rare, the 1944 S, San Francisco, steel penny is a legend. Experts believe only 2 of these exist in the entire world. Because there are so few, the demand is insane. In a recent high-profile auction, a 1944 S steel penny-graded MS-66 by NGC sold for over $373,000, with some estimates pushing it toward $400,000 in today's market. Narrator. This is why I tell you to look at the mint mark. If there is a small S under the 1944, and that coin is silver in color, you are looking at one of the rarest pieces of American history. It is the king of errors. The D/S over mint mark and die errors. Microscopic view of the D mint mark showing an S underneath. Narrator. Now, let's talk about something you can actually find in a jar of coins. You don't always need a steel error to make money. Look for the 1944 D/S over mint mark. During the war, the mint was in a hurry. At the Denver Mint, they accidentally took a die that was meant for San Francisco with an S and punched a D right over it. Look for traces of an S peeking out from behind or above the D. The value, even in worn, circulated condition, these can sell for $100 to $500. In high gem condition, collectors will pay over $8,000. Visual, images of clipped planchet and off-center strike, 1944 pennies. Narrator. Also, look for major errors. Because 1944 production was so fast, we see clipped planchets, pennies with a bite taken out of them. Off-center strikes, where the design is sliding off the edge, lamination cracks, where the copper is peeling like old skin. These aren't worth thousands, but they can easily turn a 1-cent coin into a $50 to $300 sale on eBay. How to sell and protect your coins. Visual. Showing a coin being put into a protective flip or plastic holder. Narrator. If you think you found one, do not clean it. I cannot stress this enough. If you scrub a $100,000 coin with soap or polish, you can instantly drop its value to $1,000. Collectors want the original surface. Step 1. Place it in a soft plastic flip or a coin holder. Step 2. Get it authenticated. Use professional services like PCGS or NGC. Step 3. Check recent auction records on sites like Heritage Auctions or Stacksbowers to see what people are actually paying today. Narrator looking at the camera or a montage of 1944 coins. Narrator. The 1944 wheat penny is a testament to a time when America was fighting for its life. These coins aren't just money. They are artifacts of World War II. Whether it's a 3.11 gram shell-case copper cent or a 2.7 gram steel miracle, every coin tells a story. Check your jars, check your pockets, and check your inheritance. The next $400,000 discovery is waiting to be found, and it might be sitting on your nightstand right now.